Good afternoon, everybody, ladies and gentlemen. Taurus, Sun, Moon, Rising. Welcome into your March energy reading, guys. We'll check to see what your March looks like, the month of March looks like for you. Now, a general reminder, take what resonates with you, leave the rest of the story, as I always tell you. Listen to the guidance, see what you can do with your energy. And work according to that story for yourself, because that way you will understand yourself much better and you will know where you're going wrong, what is the correction that you need to make. Consciously becoming aware of your own situation here. Okay, so let's delve into your reading. Let's welcome our spirit guide, our angel, our ancestor, my divine source into this reading for you, Taurus, for the month of March 2022. Okay, and let's see what your the first thing I would like to tell you, another thing, not the first thing, is that I'm reading reversals. So if we get any card in the reverse format, I will definitely read it, okay? The most significant energy, guys, that you will have around this portion in time, what is the most significant energy that you will feel around your environment, around yourself, around people? What is its most significant part of your energy? What kind of a significant energy, main energy? When I say significant, I'm talking about your main energy level in here around this portion in time in the month of March 2022. And of course, we will clarify the cards so that we get more information, and we'll work from there, okay? The second part of the story would be, what is the challenge you have around this portion? What kind of a challenge you will be facing around this portion in time? What kind of a challenge is in your way, or you will become aware of that challenge, right, at this point in time in the month of March 2022. Okay. The third energy would be, what is your blessing? What kind of a blessing you have or you will be getting to deal with your challenge? What kind of a blessing you will get or you will have to deal with this kind of a challenge that you will have around this portion in time? Kind of a blessing that you will have. Okay. The fourth question will be your environment, guys. What kind of an environment is around you at this portion? Normally, when I talk about environment, I'm talking about people. That could be your friend, colleagues, family, co-workers, office, anything. What kind of an environment is around you, that you're likely to notice or you're likely to get a whiff of around the month of March? What kind of an environment here, please? Okay. The next question, guys, would be Spirit's advice to you. Okay. This is a very important part of the reading. What does Spirit tell you or will tell you, or you will come to know? You will have some kind of a realization, epiphany, download, anything that is, that Spirit will give you or talk to you around this portion in time. And the last question would be your probable outcome. Now, outcome, again, guys, depends on what kind of energies you are working with. around this portion, what kind of situation you have in your life. So this is a general reading. Not everybody will have the same necessary result or the same outcome around the same portion in time. But yes, if you, this might be delayed a little bit, this might take you a little bit time, but it will happen. It will happen. Okay. So, I mean, when I say outcome, it doesn't necessarily have to be in March, but you will see some results in March, or you might see some result in April or May, depends, right? So we'll see. Now, I'll definitely talk about the bottom of the deck first before I get into the main reading for you. And we'll see. We'll take it from there. Okay, so the bottom of the deck, guys, is the Three of Wands, the Two of Wands, the Ten of Cups. Oh, wow. Okay. The Five of Wands, the Nine of Coins, and the World. Okay. So there is a major cycle in your life, Taurus. Major cycle. It shows up. It's taking a little bit of a time. Maybe you will notice this closure. There is a chapter, cycle of your life, right? Some of you have been waiting for some kind of result, some kind of closure. Maybe some of you have been waiting to know something, get some information, any kind of closure. Closure doesn't mean you just lock your door and walk away from a particular situation. That's not what I'm talking about. Closure can be just getting some information you have been waiting for to finish a particular project. Closure can be traveling. You have been waiting to travel somewhere. You haven't been able to make a move, right? Finally, you get your tickets and you're able to travel. So any kind of situation, but it's when the world shows up, for me, it's a big closure. Now, this is something that is important to you, important part of the story for you, and something that will eventually you will come to know. It's going to take you a little bit of a time, guys, for this situation to happen. Maybe it will take the whole month of March for some of you. But there is a situation in your life between the closure that you are definitely, you have invested, some of you, okay, not for everybody, again, take it in the way it resonates with you. Some of you have invested your time, your energy, and your money, maybe, right? But the net result is not good. The net result has been that after you have given everything, whatever you had to invest, right? And that investment have come from a place where you have, this is your personal investment, that you have worked hard to collect your money, to collect your, it's your personal account you have put your money from, or personal investment that you have put your money into. But then there has been a lot of drama in that situation. Now, this could be that some of you guys may have, booked some, may have gone for a business, have put money in a business situation. Some of you have put money in a personal situation. That could be a house, a car, anything, something that is you want to touch in the material world, you want to feel, right? Some of you have put in a lot of work at your office, in your workplace, right? But you were expecting good results out of the situation because maybe you have worked hard for that situation and you have been very dedicated to that particular situation. But finally, when you see something, you should feel happy. You should be happy about the net result. Okay, whatever you have invested in, whatever you have put your money or your time, your emotions, it can be anything for anybody, right? But more so with the Nine of Pentacles, for me, it's more about talking about the monetary part of the situation. So when you work hard, you get your money in place, and you invest that in a particular situation. It also could be as simple as taking a loan. Even that also possible. It's possible that you have borrowed money, you have taken a loan, right? And you wanted to start something, but then finally, when you come to that chapter, there has been a lot of conflict, lot of drama, argument, and it's kind of a petty conflict. Like, you are not in accordance, you are not agreeing with somebody with the plans, or the other person or people are not agreeing with your plans or proposition. So there is always a bickering, a conflict kind of a situation that you have invested in, right? And of course, your intention might have been to work in the most harmonious way to bring this particular project or situation to a fruition. But then what the result is at the end of the day is not something that is making you happy at the end of the day, right? So you have invested in something that what you are looking at this point in time around the month of March is that you're not getting anywhere with this situation. It's all kind of very messy, very dramatic, very chaotic, right? Very messy kind of situation. If you are in an office, if you have worked hard for a project, you have not been able to move forward with that situation, right? Reason being that other co-workers may have come in the way, and and that situation has become chaotic. There has been argument, there has been conflict, bickering about a situation. So basically what I'm getting, guys, is that you have not you're happy with the result at the end of the day. For some, it might have already happened. For some, it is in the way. For some, it will happen, right? But this is the energy in the month of March. So take it in the way it resonates with you. Now, this is where, right? This is where your happiness that you wanted to acquire from this situation, a satisfaction, right? You wanted a complete satisfaction, whether it's a personal project, a professional project that you have been dealing with. You wanted some happiness. You thought that you're going to get some result out of that situation, which will make you happy. But, now that you're looking at the situation, you feel that it's difficult bringing back complete satisfaction from a situation which has been quite messy, and you're kind of stuck in that situation because it looks to me that you're still trying. You're not giving up on this situation, guys. You're still making an effort to see if you can revive the situation, if you can make it better, right? You're working at it. You're definitely working, and very intuitively, you're probably not saying anything much, but you're thinking about a different approach to the whole situation for some, right? Um, it also could be for some of you, you could be seeking a new partnership. Maybe the old partnership that you have invested in for some as a part of your project did not work out, right? So this is where you're probably, even some of you are seeking some kind of new commitment in the story because you're not giving up on something in your life, Taurus. You're not still completely done with it. You don't want to call it quits. is what I'm getting, right? So you are still working very intuitively or making some kind of plans over the situation so that it gives you or brings forth some good result to you. Maybe the old commitment for some personal professional has fallen apart. Like I said, you invested somewhere and that particular situation, and you actually did a lot of groundwork, did a lot of hard work over this situation, but it did not yield any result, basically, right? So this is where you are, for some, you are kind of seeking out some new, fresh uh, people in your life with whom you can go for another commitment. Like you want to do this, you want to be happy about this situation. So you're not completely giving up on this situation, is what I'm getting, Taurus, right? And this is where there is probably you are learning a lot, the Three of Wands. You are, because now this time around, maybe you want to do things differently for some of you, because the last time you have seen that you haven't really got any result. So maybe you're changing your mode of operation, your modus operandi, right? So this is where you are taking a little bit of a time to understand how do you revisit the same project maybe, or start something new. But this time around you are kind of in the game plan of learning more before you eventually jump, because you could have burnt your finger before in a situation. So this time around you don't want to burn your finger, right? So for some, you are probably waiting for some kind of news, could be coming to you from a distance, or you could be waiting to plan for a trip somewhere. You want to take some kind of a different approach towards a situation this time, because what I'm getting is that you have become wise about yourself. You're learning to understand your own fault, if I may say so. We all have faults, guys. We are not perfect. None of us are perfect, and we'll never be perfect. We are all human beings. So we think we are perfect. We think we are indispensable. That an office or a home or a family cannot do without us. We put that label on ourselves, but in reality, nobody is indispensable and nobody is without any fault, right? So what I'm getting, guys, is that this energy I'm getting is that you are understanding that you still have a lot more to achieve and to learn over a situation in your life, right? But around this portion in time, in the month of March, um, you will be very wise about your situation. You will not leap into something right away. You will wait, gather more knowledge, try to talk to people, understand more before you go forward. That's what I'm getting. So before you actually go forward, and like I said, your most significant energy, guys, is a page of coins in the reverse, right? You have learned a lesson. Page of coins in the reverse is you're learning about a lesson. You are coming out. There has been a lot of failure in your life that you have had to face, Taurus, right? And see, another thing is, if you can learn from your failure and not give up, like to me, it looks like that, yes, you have had failures, but you're not giving up. You're not ready to give up. You're not quitting the game plan, whatever the game is in your life. Again, professional, personal, spiritual, anything, right? So, what I'm getting is that you're coming out, you're learning, or you have learned, or you will still be learning a little bit more from all your failures. See, because failure is the only source of us coming to a point of understanding where we have gone wrong in our life, right? Because, like I said, we all think we are perfect. We all think we are intelligent. We all think we are the geniuses. But until something hits you really hard, until you realize that, no, we are at fault. I mean, we are only human. We are only made out of flesh and blood, right? Until you come to that point of understanding that failure is a part of your success. If failure doesn't happen, success will never happen, because then you're always on a high horse and you're always achieving success, which is good. There is nothing wrong. But then the sooner you climb the ladder, the faster you fall, right? So it's good to climb the ladder, but it's always good to turn back and see if you fall, how hard you will be hit. Some people actually are cautious. They don't want to climb too fast because they know that if they fall, it'll be very painful. So they either climb the ladder very slowly or they take their own sweet time or whatever. Or even if they are climbing, they are very cautious to turn back and see how high he or she has reached, so that when the ladder falls and the person falls, how bad the injury will be, right? That's being cautious. Some people just want to climb and climb and climb and climb, and they never turn back because they are always on a high horse. They feel they're indispensable, right? They have set a very high achievement on themselves. They have never tasted failure in their life. For some, they don't really know what failure means until the failure happens, right? So with the page of coins in the reverse, guys, I'm getting that same energy that today you're coming to a point of understanding that somewhere you are learning, or you have learned a lot of lesson from your failure as well. So there has been a failure. There has been a failure that has affected you, maybe defeated you in your purpose or with your purpose in life. So you're coming to the point of understanding that as much as success is a part of your life, failure is also an equal part of that story, right? So, but you're also realizing at this point in the month of March that even though failure might have happened, even though you could have been defeated in your own situation, you have seen things crumble, maybe for some. Like I said, you have witnessed, you could not stop anything. You could not do anything to stop that situation from crumbling, even though you might have put your foot out there, right? And that situation crumbled. It ended, whatever that situation. With the Knight of with the Knight of Rods, the Tower, and the Ten of Swords, you could not stop that situation from closing or stop that situation from ending. So that was a failure. You have treated that part of your story, and you have witnessed that. You have witnessed that situation yourself, or you will witness. Take it in the way it resonates with you guys, right? You tried hard. You definitely did put in a lot of effort, maybe for some, right? You tried hard to save that situation. You possibly wanted to, some of you could have put more money in a situation, more work, more emotion, more passion, so that you can stop. Maybe you have worked twice the amount of time that you normally would have put in a particular project. You have put in more than that amount of work, right? Because you knew that something was collapsing or would collapse in your case. And you wanted to stop that from happening. It's almost like you knew what's coming to you or what was going to happen, and you wanted to stop that collapsing situation in your life. And you could have put in a lot of work, a lot of effort, and a lot more passion to that situation that today you're witnessing, that you could not do anything to stop that from crumbling and ending. And the end was very brutal. It was a bad ending. That's your most significant energy, learning from that failure, right? That however hard you have tried, Taurus, you tried hard. Let me put it that way. You tried hard, no doubt about it, but you could not still save it. You still could not save it. So this is where you might have thought that, I have a lot of courage, I have a lot of bravery, I will be able to stop anything from collapsing. And you did try, but the final result was definitely that you could not stop the situation. So this is your learning, this is your understanding, this is your part of the story, your realization. You will get that realization that you're not as strong as you thought you are. You're not as brave as you thought you are. You are not as indispensable you thought you are, Taurus. And that, like any other men or women in the world, you also had a taste of failure, right? So, so you're learning from this situation. You're definitely learning from this situation, and it's a very painful learning. It's a learning that is very painful, because you are coming to the end of that learning phase. You're definitely reaching the end of that learning phase, but this whole process that you have been going through is very painful, right? Now, the next energy is your challenge, right? We asked for what kind of a challenge is in your situation. It can be a challenge from your boss. It can be a challenge from your spouse. It can be any kind of an energy who is definitely the Queen of Swords in the reverse, who is definitely a very icy, cold, bitter individual, or a person. Or somebody right? So somebody could be very angry with you at this point, Taurus. Somebody is not talking with you. Whatever that situation, but this is a challenge. This is a challenge. Maybe your boss is very upset with you, for some of you, right? And because you could not stop that thing from collapsing, you could not protect that thing, you could not save that situation more so. Somebody could be really very upset with you. That could be a part of your challenge. in this story here, right? Please talk to me about the Queen of Swords in the reverse. So you will have somebody in your life at this point who will be very cold, icy, and bitter about situation. So and the challenge could be for you to even have any kind of communication. Maybe they are shutting the door on your face, they are not talking with you. Anything is possible around this portion in time. But somebody who is not a good energy is all I can say, right? And this energy, if it belongs to a female, can be very bitchy as well, right? Somebody who is very nasty, very bitchy, talks bad, thinks bad, right? Talks bad about other people, thinks bad about other people, because they could be very bitter. Whoever it is, they could be a very bitter individual by themselves, right? So this is where your challenge will be, guys. Your challenge is that you're dealing with somebody, or you will be dealing with somebody around this portion in time who can definitely give you a little bit of a hard time as well with their attitude. And this attitude could be just the energy they are carrying, or this attitude could be because they are nasty people or person, right? And to have a verbal communication with this person or with this energy is not going to be a possibility, even if you try, right? And this is where there is the devil, because this person, like I told you, is nasty, talks nasty, thinks nasty, has a lot of restriction, right? Is very toxic, very, very toxic individual energy I'm getting, right? Very toxic individual energy who possibly by herself, I'm saying herself, it's only because it's the Queen of Swords, energy is by herself, is a female, but take it in the way it resonates with you, and she has no hope or faith or purpose in her life as such, right? She doesn't want to move. She doesn't want to go anywhere. She has no vision, whoever it is. She's very much stuck in her situation. And it's very closed to new situations in life, is very close to new thinking, new plan, new project. So it also could be somebody you are dealing with at this point in time, Taurus. And if you cannot go any further with this situation or with this individual if you have one in your life at this point, right? They are not open for business, basically, whoever it is. This person, this energy is not open to business. Very restricted. For some, they have lost their faith in their life. They don't have that faith anymore, right? They are not holding their faith. They have given up on it. And this is because they have restricted their own self energy. They have not allowed themselves to grow. They have not allowed themselves to move, to go further, to do things, keeping their faith intact. They don't have faith in themselves. They are very restricted, they are very icy, very cold energetically, and like I said, extremely toxic. So, what Spirit is saying that if you meet somebody like this in your life at this point in time, Taurus, you cannot keep constantly battling with this energy. You will not be able to, this will be your challenge around this portion in time, right? So there is somebody, think about this person from your point of view. It can be your, like I said, can be your boss in your office, your colleague, co-workers, could be your friend, could be your relative, could be somebody very close to in your family circle. But if you keep pushing yourself, let me put it like that, in that situation, trying to make sense, trying to drill some sense into that person's head, you won't be getting anywhere. You will just be wasting your energy over this situation again and again. So Spirit is saying, Page of Rods, so Spirit is saying, you have to learn to expand by yourself. Maybe this person or this energy, Taurus, is somebody with whom you have been working. Again, personal, professional, right? And now they are not ready to cooperate with you. They are not cooperating. And that lack of cooperation is coming from a lack of faith, either in themselves or in you, or by themselves. They are very toxic. It can be any situation. So you have to understand that it's time for you to expand and work by yourself. You have to put in that energy, right? And this is what I told you, the Three of Wands. You have to learn to be wise. You're coming to the point of understanding that, yes, you might have to take decisions by yourself. You will have to work by yourself. You will have to move forward by yourself, and for which you need a lot of understanding, wisdom. Your eyes should be open to different circumstances. You should be ready to learn from people, right? So this is where some of you could have been very limited in your understanding that it's possible for a human being to do things only if you can believe in yourself, Taurus, that you are capable of starting up again in your life, right? Of an expansion idea, of a new startup project. The Hierophant in the reverse, right? Where you have to fight with your own self-belief in life, right? You have to change your understanding about your belief system. What you have believed before is not going to work for you anymore. It's not going to work. And if you sit in that old belief system, that could be a deep spiritual belief system that you have had, that you cannot go against the traditions, you cannot go against the norms, you cannot do this, you cannot do that. There are thousands and thousands of scriptures written on your family history, where your grandfather, your grandmother, your uncle, your aunts, they have followed the tradition in life. And you have similarly allowed yourself to flow with that traditional understanding from your scriptures, from your dogmas that has built up on your principles in life. Right? But today your understanding or your challenge will be, this is in your challenge position, is whether you can break free from your belief system. There's a question mark, and I leave that to you. Whether you will be able to expand, change your status quo, change your principles that you have been following for years, and move again, or start to move again, right? Whether you can do it. There is a question mark here. I'm not going to be able to answer the question for you guys because it's all very individual part of the story here. It's all up to your understanding. If I say, yes, you can break free, doesn't mean you can break free. If I say, no, you cannot break free, it doesn't mean you cannot break. Like, what I say over here in the challenge position is not going to bear any result. You will have to decide it. It's a challenge, whether you can do it or not. That's up to you. Now, you also have a blessing, okay? And we did ask for the blessing. The blessing is the Two of Cups, right? So the blessing is a formation of a new partnership with somebody in your life. But it will require you to challenge your belief, whether you can take up, like I said, you might be going against some kind of a principle in your life if you accept a new partnership. Can be possible, right? And again, it can be personal, professional, maybe just a friendship, can be anything, but this is a blessing. So what Spirit is saying, guys, is that, again, like I said, I won't answer this question. It depends on how you look at this challenge for yourself, and what you decide will be your ultimate decision in life. But the blessing says that you do have somebody who is there in your life, Taurus, who will be your friend, could be somebody you will meet or you are already met, somebody who has been there in your life. Maybe you have not accepted that friendship, but it's a blessing that the person is still there around you, whoever it is, right? Whoever it is, a person is still there around you. It could be just a good friend. Maybe somebody you have not really touched base with for a long time, right? You have not reached out to that person for some. For some, it could be that this person could be at a distance. You haven't seen that person for years or whatever. But that person is still around in your energy level, with whom you have a connection, a very soul-based connection. Somebody you are connected with from a very deep soul level. Like, say you have a friend, for example, guys, right? And you haven't really talked to that friend for a long time. You haven't touched base with that person for a long time. And yet you know that if you ever need help, you just have to pick up your phone and call that person, will be more than willing to come forward and be next to you. That kind of trust, right? That kind of trust that hasn't been expressed. You know, this is a blessing that you know this person is there, Taurus. You are very much aware of this person in your life, but you really haven't expressed your emotions in the right way. You haven't talked to that person. You haven't really emotionally emoted. You know what I mean? Because it also could be somebody you are attached on with on a romantic level for some. But it's a blessing that the person is still around in your energy vibration, right? Uh, the reason you haven't, maybe you haven't really spoken out loud, or you haven't really emoted out in the right way, you haven't really said what is there in your mind, it's only because you are not sure if you can really give birth to this situation here. You you know what I mean? Like, you have been, and it's all very deep down, in the subconscious level. You have been scared about something, you have not spoken it, you have your doubts about the situation, that probably some of you might have thought that if I'm not able to take the situation forward, then why should I speak about it? You know what I mean? Like, why should I build hope on it? Why should I emote and tell the person what that person or what that energy for me means, right? So, what I'm getting, guys, is that the blessing is because even though you haven't really done anything much on this situation in your life, the blessing is that this person is still around somewhere. They haven't completely detached themselves from you. And the same goes with you, that you haven't been able to completely detach yourself from this energy. Like I told you, it's a very deep soul level kind of an energy here, right? So the blessing that they're saying is that, that person is still around you. But the thing is that either this energy with somebody in your life you are repressing, you haven't really said anything, you haven't spoken about it. And like I said, you haven't spoken about it. Maybe some of you are hiding your feelings, you're repressing your emotions, you're not talking about it, maybe because you're scared that if you talk about it, if you openly move forward towards it, then it would mean that you're taking this ahead, right? You're giving birth to the situation. So, because of that you are not ready at whatever point in time, now again, take it in the way it resonates with you, that you were not really ready at that point, is what I'm getting, to take the situation forward. So, you just covered it with a lid. You did not detach yourself. That's what I'm trying to say. You did not detach, nor did the other person detach. But everything was very much in hiding. That's what I'm trying to say. And you kept quiet about it, or maybe the other person kept quiet about it. But the blessing is that The blessing is that even though it hasn't been really openly, talked about, or openly, maybe you guys have not been open to each other, or maybe other people, they are not aware of the situation in your life, but the situation is still there. That's what I'm saying. So the blessing is still there. Now, what you do with the blessing that you still have will be completely up to you, Taurus. Okay. Now, let's move to the next part of the story, your environment, guys. So, in the environment, you are kind of detaching yourself from a lot of situations in life, right? Other situations in life that kept you distracted, that did not allow you to focus, right? Like you were trying to work on something, but then something happened over in some other place and you immediately ran there, right? Keeping your part of the job incomplete. For some, it was a lot of distraction around you where you were not able to sit still and focus on something in your life that you wanted to do. Right? Like this kind of an energy that always that when you sat down to do something, or when you're thinking about trying to do something, you just started to work on something happened, and then this situation was incomplete. That's because somewhere you have been involved with other situations and environment. Could be your family, could be other extended family members, could be friends. As simple as you started reading a book, for example, right? You started reading a book and then you get like 3 phone calls, one after the other. It's a distraction. It's a distraction. Then you forget where you had come and the book remains incomplete. You're not able to close the chapter. You're not able to close and finish the book. So in the environment, in the month of March, guys, you will be not paying attention to a lot of things that was of distraction to you. That you highly recognize that you have been distracted and you're trying very hard to master something, you're learning something. For some of you guys, it can be as simple as you picking up some kind of job when you have to be very focused in your life to learn that particular skill well, right? So for which you're very much focused in your work. You want to do that work right, is what I'm getting. You don't want to leave that half done. So you're kind of mastering something in the month of March. And practice makes a man perfect. So the more you learn, and that's your environment, right? They're telling you, don't attach yourself with situations that is not important to you. Focus on your own self-worth, on what you are worth. And the more you're worth, the better you get. The more value you become, the more valuable you become to yourself, because you are becoming perfect in your work, or you want to perfect something. You like perfections, Taurus. You people are, you want to do your job well. Whatever job is given to you, you are very, you put a lot of effort towards its perfection. You want to do that job. You're not like other zodiac signs where, they do the job, but they're not really working on that little tiny perfections, places of perfections. It could be as simple as, you're writing say, maybe a book or a journal for some. And then, you write the first page and then you read that first page. And then all of a sudden you're like, I don't like those 2 lines in between the first paragraph and the second paragraph. So you kind of go back again And you can rewrite the whole story or rewrite the whole page because you want a perfect work of art in your life. And that's where you are you become the master, because the more you technically put in that work, the more you learn, the better you become, the wise you become. And it takes time. It doesn't happen overnight. It builds up, right? It kind of builds up. And you see, with the Knight of Pentacle and the Three of Wand, that's what you're trying to do. You're working on a project, you're working on a plan, but it takes time, you know. So you're moving ahead with a lot of precision in your life. You know exactly what kind of work needs to be done in order for you to become perfect once again in your life, or to do something well, become the master of that particular skill in your life, for which you need a lot of knowledge, for which you need a lot of um, for which you need to survey a lot of things. Some of you could be surveying something at this point because they are thinking about a future goal in their life. They're trying to build something for which they want to know how that project will occur and how well it will take off, right? What is the amount of money they will require in that particular scenario? What kind of planning is required in order to start something fresh? And knowledge is important. Knowledge and timing. Opportunity for some is definitely in the way. But Spirit is saying, before you take on to that opportunity, before you actually start to move towards that direction, you have to plan you have to plan your stuff well, right? Because somewhere you had faced a very bad destiny before, and you don't want to repeat that same mistake again. So this time around, whatever you're trying to do, however you're trying to do that, however way you're trying to do that, you want to, like I said, you want to be the master. You don't want to make that same mistake you made before, where you have come to the end of that story, learn from your failures. So this time around, in the month of March, as you pick up yourself, as you get going, you're coming to your own situation that you have to work slowly and then progress forward. You have to stop, you have to plan well, you have to think ahead of your game plan before you eventually jump into the opportunity. So planning, learning, knowledge, they are very, very key, important element. They are the three key or the three keys or the three important element in the month of March for you, Taurus. So you have to pay attention. You have to be very focused. If you're signing a document, for example, read through the fine prints at the end of the document so that you don't miss out, because most of the documents, legal documents, will carry a lot of fine prints that if you don't read them through properly before you put your signature on the dotted line, can get you into trouble later on. So you have to be very meticulous. That's what I'm trying to say here, to break that cycle of bad luck in your case, Taurus. So you have to be very, very meticulous, pay attention to details, work carefully, listen to. Listening is very important. What somebody is telling you, pay attention to that. Somebody could be guiding you around this portion in time in your environment. They could be planning this project for you. You could have an architect for some if you're building a home. For some, you could have a project manager in your environment, in your professional life, a business manager, anybody, right? Somebody who initiates the whole situation, but you have to pay attention. You have to hear what that person is telling you and visualize what will happen if you accept that proposal to move forward. So you have to be very, very focused in your environment at this point in time. Now, with regards to the Spirit's advice, it's the Eight of Swords. The Spirit is saying, don't get tied up in a lot of mental energy. You could have a lot of toxic people around you, or there is somebody here who is very toxic as a part of your challenge, right? So there could be a possibility that somebody could be putting pressure on you at this point in time, and you could feel entrapped in situations that you don't want to be tied up in anymore. So you definitely have, Spirit is saying that open your mind. And it's 8 and 8. It's your karma. It's your karmic lesson. Open your mind. Understand everything. Don't keep your mind shut at this point. That is also a part of the Spirit's advice to you, Taurus. Because if you keep yourself closed off and you don't focus, don't listen, don't hear, and you don't want to hear, you don't want to listen, you don't want to see, if you're in that energy, then you will never be able to break the cycle of bad luck. So it's very important for you to keep your mind open around this portion in time. Okay? Take that into account, guys, that you could be facing somebody in your life at this point too, who could also be very toxic, who could be putting a lot of toxic thoughts in your head. And if you come across that kind of a situation, I would say walk away from it. Walk away, because if you are in a situation where you know you're dealing with people who are not happy by themselves, who are not satisfied with their own life, they are the people who are very bitter, who can cause that effect, negative effect on you if you are with that person or with those energies around you for too long. It will automatically pull you down where you will be all mentally entrapped. So you have to be very careful, because this situation, Spirit is saying, it does exist in your life, that if somebody sees you, that you're progressively moving forward, you're working hard, you're putting a lot of effort, and you're keeping yourself focused, you're planning on something, some new work in your life, you're busy coordinating on that situation, that can cause a lot of jealousy as well for some of you around this portion, where somebody could be very jealous and can come forward because that person is not only jealous, that energy is not only envious, but that energy can also be very toxic, like I said. And they would, and whoever is toxic will never leave that toxicity. They will pour that toxicity in you. That's their game plan, in order to distract you again, in order to distract you back again, right? So that you're not able to focus again. So you have to watch. If you, like I said, if you come across people or energies in your office, in your home, in your environment, don't entertain that. Please do not, in capitals, I repeat that, do not entertain such people or such energies, even though they might be your good friend. It also could be, that a person with whom you have been friends for years is a very toxic and bitter individual, and they come to you, they knock on your door, you cannot throw them out, right? So you have to sit. But if you have to entertain such people, guys, make it at the minimum level. Don't give them too much of time. Don't give them too much of attention. Do not give them time or attention, because it's going to burn you out. Ten of Wands in the reverse. It's going to burn you out. It's going to stress, because they will come with a lot of negativity. They are not going to come to you with any positive news or with any positive, happy situation. They're going to come to you with a lot of negative situation. The more time you give that energy, the toxicity, the more time you spend in that same room, togetherness, or with somebody who is, the more energetically stressed out you will become, right? And this is where you know, it'll be very difficult for you to get a breakthrough. You need a breakthrough. You need to tell them that, hey, listen, I have some work. I cannot spend time with you too much. So, as simple as a phone call, maybe. Somebody calls you and starts talking about negative things. Oh my, this went down and that came down and this occurred and there was an earthquake, there was a tsunami, people, and all kind of negativity, negative news, conveyor of negative news will stress you out. So you have to tell them on their face, guys. Please do that. That listen, hey, listen, be nice to them. You don't have to be harsh or cruel. You can just tell them that, I've got some work to do, or I have to run somewhere, I have other things I have to go, and cut that energy short. Cut that energy short, and if you can do that, it will be your next step to your confidence. That's your energy, King of Pentacles. That will be the next step towards your confidence. And you can say no to people, or, you can ask simple bees that I don't have the time, I have a lot of work to do, we'll speak later. As simple as that. Because like I told you, the more energy you energetically connect with such an energy, the less energy you will find for yourself, because you will start losing your confidence in yourself once again. So be very direct, be frank. You don't have to be harsh, you don't have to be cruel, but you have to be direct, because this is the time, guys, that it's time for you to choose your option right, where you want to entertain somebody or you don't want to. You have to choose your option. What do you want in your life? Right? It's time for you to make your options. Be very careful, of course, because your confidence will come back to you as soon as you can negate that energy and choose choose your option. Because see, like I told you, the more time you spend with such an energy, the less quality of emotions you will get in your life. That person or that energy will bring in a lot of sad news, will give you stories about how things have gone bad in that world, in that part of the world, where recession has happened, where employment has gone, where people don't have money, food, shelter, those kind of news about losses in life, right? They'll have a lot to tell you. Some of it could just be their made up stories that they are making up for you, thinking about, imagination. Oh, this can happen. If you don't do this now, this might happen. Or, just because we are recovering from COVID, The next 2 years, the stock market will be very bad. Shareholders will have to watch out because otherwise the whole market will crash. This might happen, that there could be another variant that will come out in the market, and all of us will have to again start wearing the mask and doing and getting another needle and all those kind of BS. That will cause you a lot of stress and negativity in your life. You don't want that. So you have to cut that energy short, because this energy, it does exist as a part of your spirit's advice. So be very careful, guys. Be very careful. Somebody is the carrier of bad news here for you. They never bring good news, they only bring bad news. And there are a lot of people who are like that because they are so negative from inside. They're so toxic from inside that every time they open their mouth to talk with you, all you hear are negativity. Right? Now, your outcome is the 9 of Cups, right? So, outcome is some kind of a wish fulfillment in your life, guys. That you're definitely thinking about, waiting. Right? You're probably going to start something brand new in your life, and it's like your baby. You're going to watch that baby grow. You're going to nurture that project, and your fulfillment, you want your wish fulfillment from that task that you are doing. It's your baby. You're giving birth to it, whatever that situation, or you have already given birth to that situation, and it's in an infant stage, and you want that particular project to grow, to nurture, to be abundant, and which is going to bring you back your wish fulfillment, which is going to bring you back your money, your happiness, everything that you possibly, could have imagined in your life, right? So this is where your outcome is, that you definitely want to start something. For some of you, you definitely want to do something better in your life. For some, it also could mean that maybe some of you are thinking of adopting some baby in your life that's going to bring you back your wishes. It can be anything for anybody. Wish fulfillment is different for different people, right? For some, it is this, for some, it is that. So take it in the way it resonates with you. But your outcome is definitely talking that you're working towards something in your life that you really want to be happy with. You want to really be happy with, right? So here is the story, guys. So this is where you are. Some of you could be feeling that right now it's not possible to start something because you could be a little bit tight on money for some. And that could be the part of the story which is making you a little bit, it's kind of, you're lonely, Taurus, for some. You're very, very lonely. You're very withdrawn, because somewhere you feel that you have been stuck because of money situation, that you wanted something, you want to give birth to, you want to take it forward, it's your wish, but somewhere you're feeling kind of, that I'm not being able to do it. And I don't know which way to go. You know what I mean? It's like you're trying to find the right path. And you will get the right path. That much I can tell you. The 6 of Swords. You will find your path, guys. But you have to give it a little bit of a time. Okay, it won't happen right away. Maybe at the end of the month or the beginning of the next. See, I told you right in the beginning that the last part of the reading for me, it's always according to your timeline. What is your timeline? What is your astrological part of the story? will, this is a probable outcome that some of you will get, some of you might have to wait, some of you are looking for it, some of you are searching for a way out of this tight situation with money, right? Because where you want to move is towards a particular situation where you have friends, you have somebody special, or where you know there is friends, there is family, there is a good relationship in your life. You want to move towards a soulmate energy for some of you, because somewhere internally you know that's your path. You want to reconnect with somebody again for some of you, but you're feeling stuck because of a monetary situation. You're perhaps not being able to move right away, right? Because there is a new cycle, the Ace of Wands. You want to start something fresh once again with somebody you want to reconnect with. Remember, I spoke about the blessing here. You do have that energy. You do have a soulmate energy, Taurus. But you have to reach that place. That's taking you time because of constrictions or financial part of the story. But you're not giving up on it. You're definitely not. You're still working on it because you will find the passage. You will find a way out to the person you are connected from within your soul. And once you connect or reconnect, there is a fresh new beginning, a cycle that's coming up towards you. But it's going to take a little bit of a time. It's coming. It's in the pipeline, right? So maybe some of you guys can reconnect with somebody you have loved once, you have lost twice, maybe, right? But yeah, you definitely want to go back there. You definitely want to be a part of that soulmate energy. And that will itself build a new cycle in your life, or a new cycle of love, friendship, energy, anything that's coming up in your life, Taurus. And it's in the way. It's not completely here. You have to reach it. That's your part of the story. They're telling you that it's not just going to automatically come near you. You have to walk towards it. You have to be there. You have to go towards it. You have to attract back that story. Or re-attract back. Energetically, you have to bring it towards you. And if you can energetically pull it towards you, Taurus, that itself will be a start of a new cycle in your life once again. Okay, so enjoy this reading, guys, until I see you next month. Till then, take care. Goodbye. God bless. Khuda Hafiz and Namaste.